Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's been a hot second since I've seen you guys. I hope you're all doing well. I certainly am. I've been very busy, so YouTube has kind of been a little bit more of an abandoned project for me, but I'm really excited to get back on it because I have definitely been missing just building and letting the creative juices flow and doing some voiceovers and stuff like that. So I'm excited to get back into it. It's really good to see you guys again. But today we're building a split level cottage. I was really inspired by this tutorial that I saw. There was a YouTuber named Simmery, I think. I'll link her video down below, that made a video about how to do a split level cottage in a really easy and sort of practical manner. And I watched that video and I was inspired to build my own little cottage. I mean, I think she built a normal family home with it, but I'm going to use it to build a cottage. I'm building in Henford on Bagley today, because I thought that for my first video back, I would do something that feels really comfortable to me, which is a cottage in Henford on Bagley, which is a cottage living world with lots of like cottage living stuff and horse ranch stuff. It's just kind of my favorite stuff in the game, and I really wanted to do something that feels good to me for my first video back, so I'm very excited to be working on it. We have nearly completed the shell at this point. I'm going to be working on adding like doors and windows and everything, and you'll very soon see the vision that I'm trying to go for with the builds come together with all of these new additions. So yeah, here I am working on the exterior. We're adding lots of horse ranch doors and windows. I think that I exclusively used horse ranch for the doors and windows, if I'm thinking about it now, but we're making like a little sunroom on the right. I'm very excited. I was thinking initially that this was going to be like a family greenhouse where they keep like their most prized plants, if that makes any sense, but it ends up being a dining room because the interior of this cottage is a little bit smaller than I expected it to be. I did try to make it into a family home. There is going to be a toddler bedroom, a children's, maybe young teenagers bedroom, and a bedroom for the parents, because I really just wanted to get a couple extra bedrooms in. I do these one bedroom builds a lot, and I just want to make sure that it is functional for a longer time when you're playing within this build. There ends up not being a lot of farm space. I had initially intended it for this to be like a farm, but there ends up only being space for a couple planter boxes and not really that much farm space, but it's all good in the end. So apart from using mostly horse ranch doors and windows, I end up using a lot of life and death accents. I used the columns from life and death, and I used the fences from life and death, and I think that the life and death fencing and columns with like the weathered wood swatch matches really well for cottagey things like this. It's one of my favorite swatches in the game right now. To be honest, I have like a lot of build stuff that I just keep coming back to. It's horse ranch windows, it's life and death columns, and I end up loving the builds no matter what they look like when I include these things, so that's very exciting. Also in a second we're going to be working on the color scheme of the house. I just went for something safe this time. I went for like a wood swatch on the barn that's down below, and then the cottage is mostly like green siding with some stone accents, which I really enjoyed. And then also if you see me working on this porch right now, I end up having to change it a little bit so the stairs don't go all the way up to the porch, and I thought, hey, it's just a single step up, your Sims are going to be fine with it, but I end up having to change it because your Sims can actually not step up that room like that. So what I end up doing is pulling out the room 2 tiles just at this staircase, and I end up placing the staircase like directly onto the room, because otherwise your Sims can't step up and it won't be functional. You won't see me do that in the speed build, but you will see that in the screenshots. Oh yeah, here you see me working on the color scheme. I end up going with like a dark brown wood, some stone accents, and green wood for the main cottage. So that's also just a very nice and safe color scheme. I also do really love it in this build. So after all of those color scheme accents are done, I am just going to work on a few bits of things on the outside. So what you see here is like me getting a bug with the staircase. You can see some red text. It is an object generation bug, which is really annoying because you cannot fix it in any way other than going to manage roles and coming back. So if you ever encounter a build or a bug if you ever encounter a bug while you're building in The Sims, I think that trying to go to manage roles and coming back is usually a surefire way to fix it. And if that doesn't help, you can always restart your game and repair your game. And if that doesn't help, you're gonna have to cry about it, because this game is a very large game, and it has, I think, 92 DLC that you can purchase. And probably when they made this game in 2014, they weren't expecting to keep this going for so long. So I don't think the engine's made for it, to be honest. So yeah. Right now I am working on the staircase. I am gonna be doing the floor plan really quickly. I end up, like I said, making this into a family home, but the cottage is quite small on the inside, so I have to place the bedrooms in a bit of a weird way, I think. So I end up putting the master bedroom on the left over there with the bathroom. The bathroom is gonna be just like a hall bath. I don't end up making it into an ensuite. And then I start working on placing my kitchen cabinets and stuff like that, and I figure out, okay, I do want another bedroom back there. It'll just be nicer if the floor plan's a little bit closed off for these old cottages, so. Man, I'm sorry for stumbling over my words. It happens to me a lot. If you didn't know, I also stream on Twitch. I stream on twitch.tv/Ayla, and I mainly stream The Sims 4, but to be honest, you just end up stumbling over your words a lot of the time when you're doing voiceovers or when you're streaming, and I'm trying not to cut it out too much because I'm trying to give myself grace and just, you know, be okay with being imperfect. But yeah, you just saw me place the kitchen cabinets, and here is where I figured out, okay, I would like another room. I just feel like the floor plan would work a little bit nicer if there was another closed off room, and I debated making it into an office, but I thought, you know, if we're going for family gameplay, it'll be better if we make it into a toddler's room, so that's what I end up doing. The toddler's room is back there behind the living room, and downstairs in the basement will be like the children's or the teenage room, whatever you call it. Also, I realized that I have absolutely no wall space usable with that huge front door for the living room placement, so I replaced it with a smaller door and some windows in there, and I thought I will just make an entrance with like a nice coat rack and stuff like that. And the living room ends up being super small, but I think it's really, really cozy this way. Like, everything is kind of small and crammed together, but your Sims are gonna have more than enough space to do whatever they need, and I just find it kind of cozy, you know? So like I said, just working on the floor plan, I'm placing some furniture just to make sure that everything works out the way that I would like it to. And then the first thing that I'm going to start working on in a second, I think, is the kitchen. After, of course, I place some flooring and some wallpaper. I end up placing white wallpaper everywhere, not because I want to keep it white, but just because I'm trying to like decide what to do, and I'm just starting somewhere, if that makes sense, starting with a blank slate. We can always add more accent walls, and I end up actually not having a single white wall in this entire build, but it's just where I started. So yeah, like I said, now we're gonna work on the kitchen. I did end up going with these green cabinets because it just felt like they matched the outside. Like, obviously we've got this green going on the outside, and the horse ranch cabinets match it really well, as well as the cottage living stove and fridge, and I really like those as well. Ended up changing the window. It was a little bit too large. It's a lot of going back and forth with this build. I end up trying to shove a lot of furniture into little nooks and crannies, but no worries, I do make sure that everything is functional. I play tested it. I didn't forget the bin. If you know me, then you know that me forgetting the bins or whatever is just like a staple. Sometimes I even forget to put an entire bathroom in the build. That hasn't happened to me in a long time, but I remember just uploading builds to the gallery. I've done it twice now that just have no bathroom at all. But yeah, if you wanted to, by the way, download these builds, I do upload them all to my gallery. My gallery is Ayla_Sims4_TTV, and if you pay attention to it, you will probably see these builds up before these videos hit, because I end up just uploading them to the gallery as soon as I am done with them. But yeah, we're working on the kitchen. I thought that this like coffee maker just kind of fit the old-fashioned vibe, so I gave them a whole like coffee setup. I just thought that it looks quite cozy and cute. And then we also end up putting some dirty dishes on the counters just to make it feel more lived in and realistic. I do end up putting tile in the kitchen, by the way. It's not going to stay white. Like I said, I'm not going to have a single white wall in this entire build. It's just to give me like a starting point. But yeah, this clutter I think is from the country kitchen kit. We have the vase from the artist studio kit, and we've got some flowers, and we've got some coffee bean bags from Debug and everything like that. If you were ever interested in any of the items, you're always free to ask me down below in the comments. But also, if you stop by on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Ayla, I do end up explaining a little bit more about the items that I place over there and where they're from. Because I just have more time to yap, you know, it's nice to be live and to yap and everything like that. But I think that I'm mostly done with the kitchen. I go back to place a few accents here and there, but I think that I'm mostly done with it now, and I'm trying to decide on what kind of couch I want for the living room. I end up going with this like beautiful cognac brown couch. It's very, very fancy, but it ended up like fitting the color scheme perfectly in my opinion. We've got these kind of like muted sort of greens and yellows and blues and everything, and I just end up loving it so much. Like, this living room is super tiny, but it is super comfy and cozy looking. We put lots of art on the wall. We've got our little crates for the TV. We've got our nice fireplace. So yeah, I just think that it's cozy. Also, if this build catches on fire because the rug is touching the fireplace, I am sorry in advance. I end up doing this a lot in my builds where I just place the fireplace just like so close to the rug because I like building small and comforting and intimate spaces. But yeah, it makes it so that the rugs end up touching the fireplace a lot, and it doesn't always work out for the best. But yeah, here you will see me placing like the final clutter pieces for the living room. I end up putting like paintings on the wall and just putting some small clutter in. There's not a lot of space for me to decorate. I think this living room is what, like 3x4, which is tiny. But it's okay, it ends up looking really nice and cozy and comforting, like I said. After this, we're going to be working on the dining room. There is also not a lot of space for activities in there. No, I think that maybe only the first 2 chairs are functional. I must admit that I haven't tested that out, but your Sims are really good at navigating small spaces. I just haven't tested like all of the dining room chairs because when I move in a Sim, I move in a singular Sim to make sure that everything works, and I haven't thought about testing the back dining room chairs. But you can always eat outside because there is an outside dinner set up. And to be quite honest, like, do your Sims ever actually end up eating at the dinner table? Because mine end up eating on the couch. It does not matter that the dinner table is literally right next to the kitchen counters where they stop cooking. They just eat on the couch. They eat on the toilet. They eat anywhere except for at the dining table, which is annoying. But at least, we've got a nice dining room setup. I really love it in the sunroom. It just looks so vibey in there, especially with those long curtains and like those plants hanging on the wall. I didn't put any plants on the floor because I knew that it was going to block the Sims. So I just tried to be a little bit more mindful. But yeah, here we're decorating this entrance space. Did I forget to change the wallpaper in the entrance space? Because it's looking rather white in here right now, and I did just say, oh no, I just changed it. I did say I had not a single white wall in this build, but obviously the entrance space is just a small bit of clutter there. It's functional as a wardrobe, but it won't be where your Sims are going to spend any time. And for the toddler's room, I ended up grabbing this toddler bed from Werewolves. It is just simply so cute with like the quilted blanket and the nice canopy above. So I based the whole color scheme on the bed. Now obviously the bed has quite muted colors, and before you're gonna accuse me of being a sad beige mom, it's because the bed is these colors, okay? But there ends up being like a lot of muted colors in this toddler's bedroom. But I do end up trying to make it cozy with these like plant vines and with like enough toys for your toddler to actually have a good time with it. Yeah, it's just that the color scheme is a little bit more muted, but as long as the toddler has enough toys, I don't think like it's a sad thing, right? So also, yeah, I'm placing some clutter on this. It's technically a chair, but I'm using it as a nightstand because it's just simply such a cute item. Like, this sheep is just adorable. I end up using it as a chair. The book from the new Little Simsy Comfy Gamer Kit is placed there so that it looks like your Sim might have been like reading their toddler to sleep, and I ended up placing like, I don't know, the toddler shoes and everything on the wall. I did put a bassinet. I didn't put a crib because I just wanted to do a toddler's bedroom, but I just placed the bassinet there for functionality, if that makes sense. The crib can also be exchanged with the bed. It'll fit there, it'll function there. So if you are playing in this house and you want to have children, you just want to replace the crib with the bed for, the infant stage, and then you can replace it back. But now we're working on the bathroom. I tried to just make it look old. And that's really all the inspiration that I had for this. Old and a little bit grimy, but not like dirty looking, I don't know. So yeah, we end up just going for a shower tub combo so that the toddler has a place to bathe, and it's basic bathroom stuff. What can I say? So as I am recording this voiceover, it is Saturday the 15th of February. I recorded this a couple days ago, but obviously it's the day after Valentine's Day. So if you did have like a nice weekend spent with either your loved ones or your friends or whoever else, like, let me know about the comments, because I am just a person who loves love and I love hearing about it. And I love sharing stories. I didn't have Valentine's Day this year. Unfortunately, something went wrong with the planning, so I have spent my Valentine's Day on Twitch with my actual Valentines. So Right now we're working on the bedroom, by the way. I decided to pick a bed first so that we could base the color scheme off the bed, and I went with this one because it has these green colors that we see in the living room and the outside, but it also had some peach colors, and I thought that it would make like a nice sort of more fresh accent. And I ended up using horse ranch stuff, so I tried to just use like the horse ranch matching nightstands and dressers and stuff like that. I also imagined that the sim, like as their hobby, they would be a writer. I was at this point still imagining this family to be a farming family because I have so much space outside, but I ended up just not having space outside. So I thought that writing could be their hobby, but I think that writing is gonna have to end up being their profession instead. Because I just don't know how else these sims are gonna make money. There's not enough space for farming activities outside. With all the landscaping that we've done, but I gave them this little writing and reading setup. I just thought that it looked cute together with, you know, the bedroom style that we've got. The writing setup is super small, but it's adorable. It's cozy. I love this little desk from Werewolves. It's one of my favorites. I end up placing a journal there too. Your sims, when they're going to use the journal, they're going to pick it up and put it somewhere else. It won't be functional there, but for now it's just clutter. And then there is like a nice little reading nook. I put a chair there so that your sims can just sit there and read, and it's just, you know, it's just nice. Also, for an extra hobby for your sims, I ended up putting the cross-stitching basket. The cross-stitching is not going to make you any money. It literally is just for fun, but I thought that it would just be nice to have another hobby. Now, these nightstands, I cluttered up with some basic stuff. There was actually like a lot of the stuff from the Comfy Gamer Kit, which is silly because if you think about it, the Comfy Gamer Kit is like for gamer rooms, if it makes sense. But the stuff from there just ends up being really versatile, like the books and the cups and everything just ends up being so versatile. Oh, I see that I did a last minute wallpaper change. I've honestly forgotten about that, but as we move on, I've already decorated the little downstairs bathroom. It was just an extra bathroom so that the kid wouldn't have to go all the way upstairs in the middle of the night if they were waking up to go to the restroom. But it does end up having a shower. It has the Love Struck shower, I think. Just a shower head that your sims can walk under so that the bathroom is fully functional, but it is small. And for this kid, I decided that I wanted them to have science posters because I was like looking through the rug swatches, and this sort of like space themed rug is just, it's so fun. So I ended up basing the entire bedroom off of that. So I gave them a couple science posters. In the end, I also end up fitting in a science table setup for the sim because I just thought that they needed it. But yeah, I think these people love space. I've also given them the hobby of video gaming, so I gave them like a small little gaming setup in the corner over here. It ends up having, I think, the Super Dream Cube that we got from the what was it, from the retro event? Yeah, I think it's the retro event. So it's got the Super Dream Cube, and it's got just like, you know, controllers, games, whatever as clutter. So the sim just has a little gaming setup, and I thought that was really cute. Finishing it up with like a mirror, maybe a plant, some like corner lamp or something like that, just to make sure that the bedroom feels a little bit more complete. And that will be this bedroom all done. It's not super large, but it does have some fun hobbies for your sims. Now this room, because this is technically like a barn that was renovated, I decided to make this room into a workshop. So it ends up having like a woodworking bench, it ends up having a easel, it ends up having some plant pots, and the science table for the kids also ends up being in here. But I just imagined that this was like the sort of workshop that they end up using. I switched these pots around a lot, which is embarrassing, but I left it in the build. But these pots kind of just ended up being in like the wrong place. Like a bunch of times when I was trying to switch things around, but I was trying to make this look like a couple of fleshed out hobbies were there. So I end up placing some canvases, and I end up placing like other pieces of clutter that reflect the workbench and the gardening and stuff like that. So it just has like a bunch of like little clutter things and then a few hobbies. It's kind of like a catch-all room. I like putting those in builds. But yeah, here we're doing the final bits of decoration. After this is done, we've decorated the entire house, so we're just gonna work on the landscaping. And besties, I have to admit, I've cut out a lot of the landscaping. I end up doing a lot of the same landscaping all around the builds, but I end up covering the edges of the split levels with rocks. I have not left that in the builds because that is just like annoying to watch, but these rocks are from Cats and Dogs Debug. They end up placing really, really nice on these like split levels, and Simmery also explains this in her video that I've linked about how to make these split level cottages. So I just ended up cutting it out, and then I put my favorite low-lying pale yellow bushes around because they have some flowers in them and I really like it. And for outdoor activities, I've gone with a table, a grill, some plant pots, and a telescope. That's my outdoor activities that I've decided to place. And after all of these outdoor activities are placed, we are going to just work on landscaping. I do end up, for the children, putting some monkey bars outside somewhere. And I end up having to add things like, you know, an outdoor bin and lots and lots and lots of flowers. So you'll see me place the outdoor dining table here, and I also make sure to fit in a grill. This is functional, by the way. I have tested this, so you don't have to worry about that at all. And now I end up starting to work on the landscaping. I think that I'm going to start adding the flowers. So the flowers I've used are mainly just Cottage Living debug flowers. I've just gone to debug, as you'll see me do here, and I go to Cottage Living because we are in Henford on Bagley, and I like the plants to match the outside plants. So I'll try to choose plants that are from the same world as I am building in. So I end up placing a couple of these trees. I really like these sort of like blossom trees. There's trees with red flowers. There's trees with like pale beige flowers. I just think they end up looking so cute. And then for plants, I've literally just gone with everything Cottage Living. So every single plant in the Cottage Living debug is what I have used to bring variety to the landscaping. It ends up being like a ton of different colors. Sometimes I end up picking a color scheme for my landscaping, but today was not the day. Apparently I've just put together everything that I could find. I did try to make sure that nothing was poking through the walls and stuff like that, so I did go back and check that. But yeah, this is like the last little bit of landscaping that I end up doing. I end up covering all of these low-lying bushes with flowers. I end up covering all of the rocks, like the rock-lined little planter beds. I end up covering all of those with flowers. And if there was some like gapping going on, I ended up placing those longer hedges because they tend to cover the gapping quite nice. But yeah, this is like the last few touches that I'm doing. I'm gonna be decorating the porches. I'm gonna be putting in the monkey bars, and after that it will be time for the screenshots. But it's just this, you know, last little monkey bar touch, putting a pathing in, putting some terrain paint, I think, and then we're done, which is exciting. I really loved building this build. It came together in about like 3 hours of building. And I hope that you've enjoyed watching this, and I also hope that you are going to enjoy these screenshots that are going to be popping up on screen in just a second. So I hope that you enjoyed watching this build, and if you did, make sure to give me a like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching it. If you made it all the way to the end, I really appreciate you, friend. I hope you enjoyed the screenshots. I will be trying to post content like this every single Sunday, so keep your eyes out for that. And I hope that you have a wonderful, good rest of your weekend, and I will see you again in the next one.